I installed the Big 3 upgrade kit on my car for the alternator and the fuel pumps, and no matter how careful you are with these, the fuses, you do get a little bit of wire showing here on the ends, so I decided to go ahead and clean that up a little bit and try to seal it. So I bought some brush-on electrical tape. I've used this stuff in the past, and I just wanted to put it here on the ends of the fuel power line and on the alternator Big 3 upgrade kit. So this is the stuff here. It's just brush on electrical tape. It's really gooey, kind of hard to use, but I wanted to go ahead and do that. So I did that and cleaned up this whole little area, and so now you can see it looks pretty good. It's in there pretty deep, and then the cover is going to go over this anyway, so that'll help clean up. The little plastic cover is going to cover the wires as well, but now that's not exposed wire. And then the next thing was just to drive the car around, make sure that it idles fine and everything, getting ready for the dyno tune. Base tune runs pretty well, and the air fuel ratio is staying around 11 and on wide open throttle. I did a quick pull. I'm not going to beat on the car right now, but I did do a quick pull to make sure that boost is holding and to make sure that the air fuel is right, and I was curious to see how much ignition timing was in the car. So here's a little pull with my cousin.
Oh yeah, I think you got up to like 17, 18.
Yeah, I think that's
that one. I didn't really see it because it's kind of, the video, it's kind of like, it's, even though it's showing on there, yeah, you got up to 18. It's kind of in and out on the video. It's kind of flickering. So you can't see the gauge very well.
Okay, yeah, we'll check it out.
Because it's changing so fast. The numbers are changing so fast.
We'll
but
watch
yeah,
it.
I think you did 18 on that one.
I think it's spiked.
Maybe almost a little more, maybe 20. That's what it looked like. It looked like it was about right.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber shift boot. Carbon fiber steering wheel. Red interior door handle. Red mirrors.
So everything seems ready for the dyno. I finally got an appointment. It's scheduled a few weeks out, so we'll still get ready for that. The only thing I'm going to do is right before the dyno, I'm going to change the spark plugs and gap them down to 0.28. I got a whole new set of plugs I'm going to put in it. So that's the only thing I need to do, and I want to wait until right before the dyno for that. And something else was my friend decided to bring his trailer over so we could practice getting the car on the trailer. I didn't want to wait till the day of the dyno and find out that we had issues with loading the car, and it was kind of low, so I have some footage of that, and this is him helping me getting it all ready. So we did test fit the car. So we made some adjustments, and he actually made those ramps. They're 6 feet long. He made those so it would be a shallow angle all the way onto the trailer, which the car needs because it's so low. And he's a really good welder and does a lot of good work. So that's really cool that he's done that. So the next thing I need to do is gap the brand new spark plugs and install them in the car. And I got the new tool for that. I'll show you what that is right here. It's actually pretty interesting, and I did have somebody on the channel make a comment earlier about gapping plugs and how sometimes you gap them down with this tool that I'm using, and when you release it, the gap increases, so you have to be careful with that. So what you do is you thread it into here, and I really like this. I think it's well done. You thread it in, have it steady in a vise, and the goal here is to bend the ground strap down to gap the plug with this bolt that comes out of the top of the tool. And I know this isn't really easy to do one-handed, so I apologize, but this is how it works. You thread it down, and then as you slowly crank on it, it changes the gap. So I had feeler gauges of 0.028. This is what is recommended for the boost level that I'll be doing. And so you slide that in there, and when you snug that down, like I said, it will snug all the way to the feeler gauge. You don't want to damage it, push too hard. But the problem is when you release that bolt, it is going to increase the gap just slightly. So what I had to do was snug it down to the feeler gauge, pull the feeler gauge out, and then snug it down a little bit more to increase the gap just a little bit more to where I wanted. So here's an example of me doing one of them. Have a feeler gauge in here and slowly crank it in, and it doesn't take too much. It gets pretty tight, so you don't want to damage anything, like I said, but just cranking that down to the point where it's at the right gap. And then when I was done, I would take each plug out, and I double checked it using a different gauge, this other coin style one, just to see where it is on here. And it was right there between 0.28, 0.29, sometimes 0.27. They're really close, and it's difficult to get it absolutely perfect. But anyway, that's how it worked. And here's an example of how when you release it, see the feeler gauge is just sitting in there, and watch when I release it, you'll see how it moves up a little bit. See, it moved up, and it increased the gap. So that's the quick update for now. The car is getting ready to go on the dyno. Of course, I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm trying to enjoy this, but it is something I've been waiting a very long time, and it doesn't help that I had to wait months for the dyno appointment. So anyway, stay tuned, and we'll have some more updates on the Cobra.